My name is Elena, I'm 29 years old, and I work as a senior resident surgeon at a hospital in Atlanta. My life is a whirlwind of 12-hour shifts, high-stakes decisions, and very little sleep. When I'm not in scrubs, I value one thing above all else: my rare time off. For the past 4 years, my family has decided that because I make the most money and have the nicest house, I am the designated host for Thanksgiving. My sister, Chloe, who is 32 and works a standard office job, always claims she's too overwhelmed with her 2 kids to cook. My mother, Sharon, insists that her back can't handle standing in a kitchen anymore, though she seems to handle standing in line for Black Friday sales just fine. Every year, the script is the same. I spend my one day off shopping for a 20-pound turkey, organic sides, and expensive wine. I spend 14 hours in the kitchen while Chloe, her husband, and my parents sit in my living room, drinking my bourbon and watching football. They don't offer to help with the dishes. They don't offer to chip in for the $500 grocery bill. In fact, they usually leave with Tupperware full of leftovers that I paid for and cooked. Last year was the breaking point. I had just finished an 18-hour shift involving a multi-car accident. I was exhausted, mourning a patient we lost, and tired. When I walked into my own kitchen, I found Chloe complaining that the homemade cranberry sauce was unsweet enough, and my mother asking why I hadn't dusted the guest room baseboards yet. Not one of them asked how my shift was. Not one of them offered me a glass of water. They just saw me as the caterer for their holiday. This year, I decided to play their game. 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, I sent a message to the family group chat. Hey everyone. I know how much we love the tradition at my place. I'm happy to host again, but since my surgery schedule is insane, let's make it a true family effort. I'll provide the house and the main bird. Chloe, you're on sides and appetizers. Mom, you've got desserts and drinks. Can't wait. Chloe immediately replied with a string of crying emojis. Elena, you know I'm not a cook. The kids have soccer practice all week. Can't you just do the usual? We'll pay you back. A lie she's told for 4 years. My mom chimed in. Honey, you're so much better at it. It's your gift. Don't be difficult. We're family. I didn't argue. I didn't push back. I simply replied. Understood. I'll handle the usual. See you at 2 p.m. on Thursday. They thought they had won. They thought the reliable doctor had folded again. On Thanksgiving Thursday, I woke up at 9 a.m. I didn't go to the grocery store. I didn't defrost a turkey. Instead, I spent the morning at a local spa getting a deep tissue massage. I had a quiet, solo breakfast at a cafe and read a book for 3 hours. At 1:45 p.m., I returned home. The house was cold. There was no scent of roasting meat or cinnamon in the air. The kitchen counters were sparkling clean and completely empty. At exactly 2:05 p.m., the doorbell rang. My parents and Chloe's family piled in, armed with nothing but their appetites and empty Tupperware. Something smells different, Chloe said, sniffing the air as she walked into the foyer. Did you use a different rub on the turkey? I didn't use any rub, Chloe, I said. Walking into the living room in my comfortable loungewear, holding a single glass of sparkling water. What do you mean? My mom asked, heading straight for the dining room. She stopped dead in her tracks. The table wasn't set. There was no food. The only thing on the table was a stack of local pizza menus and a calculator. Since everyone told me they could unhelp with the effort of a family dinner, I said, leaning against the door frame, I decided to follow your lead. I didn't do any work either. I followed the usual, which for this family, apparently means doing absolutely nothing to help Elena. This is a disgrace. My father yelled, We're hungry. Where is the food? The usual is in the menus on the table, I said with a calm smile. Pick a pizza, calculate your share plus tax and tip, and give me the cash up front. I'll place the order once the money is on the table. The dining room was silent for a few seconds before the explosion of outrage began. My mother looked like she was about to faint, and Chloe's husband was staring at the pizza menus as if they were written in a foreign language. Pizza, for Thanksgiving, Chloe shrieked, her face turning a blotchy red. Are you insane? My kids have been talking about your mashed potatoes for a month. You can't do this to them. Actually, I can, I said, checking my watch. And I did. I spent my morning at the spa because my back, much like Mom's, apparently can't handle the stress of the kitchen this year. It turns out, when you don't spend 12 hours hovering over a stove, you feel quite refreshed. My father slammed his hand on the mahogany table. This is a slap in the face, Elena. We drove an hour to get here. We are your guests. No, Dad, I corrected him, my voice dropping to a surgical chill. You aren't guests. Guests bring a bottle of wine. Guests offer to help with the dishes. You are consumers. And today, the kitchen is closed. Now, are we ordering the meat lovers, or are you all leaving? The entitlement was so thick you could have cut it with a steak knife. My mother started crying, the classic, manipulative weapon she used whenever she didn't get her way. I didn't think my own daughter would be so heartless. To leave us hungry on a holiday. I'm not leaving you hungry, Mom. I'm giving you the same amount of effort you gave me. 0. If you're hungry, there's a stack of menus. If you're offended, the door is exactly where you left it. Chloe realized I wasn't budging. She reached into her purse, pulled out a $20 bill, and threw it at the table. Fine, order the pizza. I hope you're happy knowing you've ruined the kids' holiday. Oh, the kids will be fine, Chloe. They love pizza. It's the adults who are upset because they lost their free 5-star buffet. I didn't order the pizza. I waited until everyone had put their money on the table, calculated down to the cent. When the delivery arrived 40 minutes later, I didn't set the table with the fine china. I handed them paper plates and napkins. They ate in a tense, miserable silence. No one complimented the food. No one laughed. They tried to make me feel guilty with their sighs and pointed looks. But for the first time in years, I didn't feel a shred of remorse. I felt light. I felt like I had finally stopped being the family's pack mule. As soon as the last crust was eaten, Chloe started packing up her empty Tupperware. Well, since there are no leftovers to take home, I guess there's no point in staying. Exactly, I said, standing up and opening the front door. I have a long shift tomorrow, and I'd like to enjoy my clean kitchen and my quiet house. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. My parents left without hugging me. Chloe didn't even say goodbye. They filed out like a funeral procession, leaving me standing in the doorway of my silent, beautiful home. I went back inside, threw the pizza boxes in the recycling, and poured myself a glass of that expensive bourbon my father usually polished off. I sat on my sofa, stretched my legs out, and enjoyed the most peaceful Thanksgiving of my adult life. The next morning, the group chat was blowing up. My mother had started a new thread without me, to complain about my behavior, but my cousin who had been lurking in the main chat privately messaged me. Honestly, Elena, legend move. They've been using you for years. Enjoy your peace. I haven't heard from my sister or parents in 3 weeks. And for the first time, I'm not the one reaching out to apologize for something I didn't do wrong. I've already booked a flight to a beach resort for Christmas. If they want a holiday feast this year, they can learn how to roast their own turkey. I'm retired from being the family servant, and the retirement benefits are incredible.